MSTIP and the budget cuts. The conversation at WCCC was really around the mayor's brainstorming a way to ensure that MSTIP funds isn't cut year over year. There were comments, but all of those comments were addressed by the one pager staff provided to the mayors and to the committee members. And then final comment, I did let the team know our final decision about the budget process, but one of the things that I'm bringing it back to you all is that I think between WCCC and the Board of Washington County Commissioners, there is a common problem, which is a money problem, but I understand we also have a common goal, which is to make sure that our roads are safe. And I understand why they are interested in protecting these dollars. Washington County has great roads. There was an item that I corrected that was not addressed in the one pager, but other than that, I think it's going to be a good journey to good conversation to have with the mayors in terms of how we resolve MSTIP funds.
How many of us listened in on that meeting?
I couldn't. I was going to.
Okay. Yeah, usually I know Chair Hinton is the alternate. You listen. Good to see you. That you joined. Were you? Did you raise your hand too? No.
No.
Okay.
Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay. Who else?
Oh, I do actually. Thank you. This week, there is a JPAC meeting, board JPAC meeting as well this week. That's it.
Short, so I'll just go. Notable is on Thursday morning, the annual WEA mayors meeting, talking about mayors. They're coming that morning. We've got a transit meeting, HB 217. That's not the local one, but the regional one on Friday. That's it for me.
Yeah, go ahead.
After last week's board sessions, I attended the Legislative Water Caucus happy hour. It was following the tour that they made of Clean Water Services. There was a really positive vibe there about what they saw and about Clean Water Services. Representative Mark Owens and Representative Ken Helm were there. I talked to both of them for quite a while. So congratulations for a job well done in terms of the Water Caucus. Last week I attended the Community Action Board of Directors meeting. The rest of the week was with all of you at our budget meetings, and we said it there, but I'd like to say it one more time. Congratulations to all of the staff members for the work that was done. It was Herculean. There is no question. And I also am really impressed with our community members of the budget committee as well. So that was really good. Saturday, I went to the sheriff's office canine trials. That was very cool. And I'll tell you that it is a great community outreach effort. 6,000 people were in the stands. I mean, it was amazing. And it was very well done. I didn't get to see all of the trials of the dogs, but it was really well done. When Sheriff Massey was giving her welcoming, she stopped and just said, "I'll be right back." A gentleman had fallen down the stadium steps and had an emergency issue. So everyone, these 6,000 people, got to see our public safety folks in action. So it was quite amazing. But she gave us all a nice shout out to the county commissioners for their support of the sheriff's office and the work that we do with public safety and justice.
Is that once a year?
Yes. And it's really something to see.
Yeah.
So, and we also had a recycling Our recycling folks were there, so I talked to them for a little bit. There's a whole vendor area that isn't just about dogs, but there are dogs. So that's fun. I got home and my own dog was like, okay, where have you been? So
You smell like a dog.
yeah, I smelled like a dog. So yesterday I had the MPAC Sync Up meeting and it was attended by Mayor Roser and Mayor Deline. We had a good conversation about the upcoming MPAC meeting. That meeting is going to include and this Wednesday, it's going to include the Oregon Housing Needs Analysis presentation, and that's the housing target setting methodology. There's also supposed to be a small site industrial readiness toolkit presentation, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. And then the Sherwood West concept plan and UGB expansion proposal. It's a couple things I want the team here to know. When we had our coordinating committee meeting, Councilor Nolan wanted to include on the agenda Thousand Friends in relationship to the Sherwood concept plan, and I opposed that. It wasn't part of the regular procedure that Metro goes through here, and made it clear that as chair I was not going to support that. So you may hear about it. I just want you to know that that's a position I felt was substantiated by Metro procedures. The other thing that I want to make sure is that Sherwood has their full 45 minutes. They've already done this presentation a couple times. It does require the 45 minutes. And because our agenda is pretty full with the first piece is the Oregon Housing Needs Analysis, it looks like that small industrial site toolkit is going to be moved. It has a high potential of being moved because of the time crunch there to be able to get both of the major topics enough time. So just FYI, that's what's happening at MPAC. I will also be at the Mayor's Forum. I haven't gone to a WA meeting now for quite a while, so I'm looking forward to attending that this Thursday. And that's my report.
Okay. Well, I also attended that Legislative Water Caucus social hour. So again, kudos. It was well done. And the people there that I was talking to was really appreciated what the information you shared with them. So it was a good thing. Then of course the budget was last week. You know, we spent about 30 hours in public meetings last week. That was enough.
Count Tuesday's meeting?
Yeah. Yeah, about
I know.
7+ hours a day for 4 days.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Are you sick of me yet?
Mm,
You
no.
don't have to answer.
Are you sick of him?
So what
So anyway, let's see. Saturday was the Family Justice Center Denim and Diamonds, and thank you, Pam, Aaron. There was a whole bunch of staff there. It was a fun event. Yes, Nafisa.
don't forget
Karen
about
Boland
me,
was
Jerry.
there. Karen Boland and I were bidding against each other on a golf thing. And then the air show on Sunday. By the way, the Denim and Diamonds set a new record. It raised over $200,000. So it was good. Air show on Sunday was
Over
great.
200, yeah, he's right.
The air show this weekend, you know, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, pretty cool nights. They dodged the rain every day. Because I was texting somebody while I was sitting there Sunday afternoon in sunshine, and they said, "What are you doing at the air show? It's raining." No, it's not raining here, but you could see those big old black clouds moving around, and it was pretty interesting. But yep, they got the air show in, and then it rained afterwards. So tonight I have the Salmonberry Trail Foundation board meeting, which is out at Banks Fire District. And so that'll be an interesting one. I did attend the WCCC yesterday on Zoom, and my takeaway wasn't the same as yours, Nafisa. I think we have some work to do with the mayors. I didn't like being on the menu rather than at the table. And I felt very much attacked, and I felt like they attacked every person on this commission. I thought they were pretty disrespectful. And so we have some work to do on that, but at the same time, I requested to be heard. At the end, Stephen tried to get me a spot, and they refused to allow me in, which is something we typically do not do for another elected. So I felt like that was not a good meeting and certainly not good communication from them. So we have work to do on that, and I may be following up with all the other mayors. See, I had 3 mayors in my district that were there, maybe 4, maybe Banks Mayor was there as well.
Yep.
I will be having conversation with them as well. So, and I'm going to communicate my displeasure in that conversation. ROMAC, I'll be going to the mayor's, WEA Mayor's Forum on Thursday morning, so I won't be going to ROMAC. So please let them know that I won't be attending that. And then Friday, I am reading to kindergarten kids on the Hillsborough Online Academy. So that'll be fun to do that. And then have Forest Trust Lands, COPAC, Executive Committee, and a few other things going on. We continue to meet on the small table, and we are now honing down what are asked, and then probably in a few weeks, we are going to have a Council of Forest Trust Lands meeting and run that by the entire board. More stuff.
So I'll do sweep. Yesterday, so on the water caucus meetings and event, I was able to join on the tour. They had the tour of Rock Creek. And then we went over to South Hillsborough. And so they got to see the different stormwater enhancements, the park use. City of Hillsborough did a great job of covering all of that. And a couple of us mentioned, Joe Gall and myself mentioned to the City of Hillsborough staff that not only did they do a terrific job in building all of that out and partnering with Clean Water Services, but also they're now serving as a role model for what is possible. And I'm hoping that the city of Sherwood, with Sherwood West, with King City, with their comprehensive planning of their area, that those local jurisdictions will take advantage of the opportunity to see what happens when you stretch your mind, work with the building community. And both, I really want to compliment Hillsborough and Cornelius with what they have built out in these 2 UGB expansion areas. I don't think the Metro Council, the current Metro Council, has had their tour to see the variety of housing types, the park set-asides, the stormwater implementation. So I don't know if Mary Nolan and Garrett Rosenthal and Duncan Wong and Counselor Simpson have been out to see how the local cities of Washington County, and I would put Tigard with what we saw with River Terrace 1.0 and Beaverton with South Cooper Mountain, both in that mix, because those cities have not only stepped up to the plate, but they've hit a grand slam, in my opinion, with their implementation. And let us know, Commissioner Treese, with how things seem to be shaping up at MPAC, because if we need to go and testify to encourage the Metro Council to come out and take a look so that we're part of the cheering squad of these municipalities, doing a terrific job of planning and building out and working the relationships with the development community. If you're only driving on TV Highway through Cornelius, you would never know. And it's not like you see a lot of new home signs pointing in that direction. You actually need to go and drive around. And it's terrific.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Jessica Peltz. She provides briefing notes for me before impact meeting. And she reminded me right at the top, your board acknowledged the Sherwood West concept plan, approved an IGA with the city of Sherwood and approved a letter of support to Metro. So that type of information now I have at my fingertips to make sure that I say that in the group. So you're absolutely right.
But I think we need to invite them to come out and take a look so that they aren't of negative mind on UGB expansions, right? We've got the governor and legislators saying we need more housing. Well, you can do housing development really well and in a sustainable manner. So anyway, I'm going on too long about that. I attended the Metro SHS Oversight Committee meeting, and they went over the county work plans from all 3 counties for the next fiscal year. And the COO came in and gave a presentation on the Metro Regional Housing Stakeholder Advisory Table. It was quite interesting to hear her positioning of conversations with the counties and other things. And I'll leave it at that. I did send you the materials that were in the packet on the tax collections and disbursement, which included new information specifically on the Metro admin money, of which $36 million of carryover is just sitting there. It was an interesting conversation. It was interesting. I'm moving on now to WCCC to hear your report out, Commissioner Fye. If our mayors think the only thing that we do for the county is roads, and that's all we have in common, then they are severely mistaken. So we last year made an effort through our budget to help them appreciate what we do and what we do so that cities are well off, and the need to continue that is there. So, yep, interesting situation. Takes 2 to tango, as the phrase goes. So we've been doing an incredible waltz. So that's all I've got. Leadership communication.
And jump in, and I'd ask Julie and Christian to join. So I'll start with an intro. Really pleased to announce Christian Anisetti. Did I get Shesti? Okay, I will do better. Thank you. Has joined the County Administrative Office to serve as our Public Affairs and Communication Coordinator. Christian began his term with the county just yesterday, so I heard there's a theme also with our CWS intro earlier today. In this new limited duration role, Christian will provide communication support for strategic board initiatives, including those related to public safety and justice, strategic planning update, and others. Most recently, as form of background, Christian served as the marketing specialist with PCC's Small Business Development Center, managing social media operations in support of their many programs and services. Prior to that, he worked as a communicator and social media manager for both Port of Portland and Portland State University. So really deep communications experience coming to us at Washington County. Christian also holds leadership positions in 2 volunteer nonprofit organizations and extensive experience advancing equity and inclusion work in his many areas of professional and personal life. So we'd just like to welcome Christian, and this is really an integral limited duration position to further board initiatives that have been identified by your board in last year's budget cycle and also within this strategic plan update. So Julie or Christian, would you like to share anything?
Well, good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you for that warm welcome, and thank you to colleagues as well for a wonderful first day so far. I just wanted to quickly mention, over 20 years ago, I immigrated to this country from the Philippines and called the city of Hillsborough my home. And ever since then, the city has been there every step of the way. And so to have the opportunity to come back and serve the county in this capacity, I just couldn't be more grateful. So thank you for the opportunity.
And you may not know this. Well, maybe you were listening to our board meeting earlier today where a new Clean Water Services employee was introduced. And Commissioner Willie was hearing how she does not and has not lived in District 4, if I recall that conversation right. So we've shored him up for all my.
Right. Good job. That's a good choice.
I just couldn't let that go by.
Thank you. for
Help
that.
brighten your day.
I would just like, I would just like to add maybe a little known fact about Christian. He has many, many professional and personal awards for his contributions to the community. But in 2023, he was named by the Portland Trail Blazers as a hometown hero for his contributions to the API community.
Wow. Excellent. Yes. And welcome to Team Washington County. It's an incredible team. And we do a phenomenal amount of good work for our community. We don't seem to have enough hours in the day to share that goodness. So thank you for joining our team so we can figure out how to achieve that goal.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
You'll be busy.
Ready.
I've known Julie a long time. So if you want scoot.
Don't listen.
Yet, if you want to see the rest of the county, there's a lot of pretty areas outside of District 4. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all agree.
Yeah, you can go down there and try and get through 217 if you want to.
Oh, boy, the gauntlet's been thrown. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for introducing yourselves to us.
Yep.
Terrific. I know I've seen you on the 3rd floor already the last couple of days.
Looking forward to working together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
Well, today is the day, so I will share a brief elections update as we are coming down the wire. I didn't mean to scare you with.
I was like,
something.
ooh, what's going on today that I don't know about?
Ballots must be received at elections by 8 p.m. tonight, or within the next 7 days of today, if sent by the U.S. Postal Service with the postmark showing today's date. As of this morning, elections had received 74,000 ballots, or 19% of registered voters. The first round of unofficial results for the 2024 primary election will be posted to the Secretary of State's website just after 8 p.m. This evening. Moving on to a jail update. I had sent your board earlier today just a status update of the critical nature of our jail facilities. The boiler went down, and that overview is within your inbox. I do want to just highlight, we expect to be fully contracted by September, with early construction beginning thereafter with an expected end date of April 2026. So just really appreciate the quick responsiveness of our facility, fleet, and parks team, and then also recognizing to have some backup supplies, but we are at a critical point with the boiler in the jail.
Were those the ARPA funds?
Correct.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you.
Mhm.
And then also,
SIP.
Yep.
yeah,
Correct.
and also I was struck by the innovative approach
Mhm.
to, you know,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
what is it, baling wire and whatever.
tape, yep.
Okay. Wire, yeah. Thank you.
Yes. So just as a way of just information on the jail, earlier today I was informed by Sheriff Massey that she will actually be personally covering the staff shortages this afternoon and working as the jail deputy. The recruitment and retention efforts are underway, as you're aware, and it will just take time to get staff in place and really stabilize the day-to-day operating staffing reality that our sheriff's office is experiencing. I want to commend Sheriff Massey because she is demonstrating servant leadership, and I see this present in Washington County through and through, day after day. Travel and coverage. I will be traveling starting on May 25th through Sunday, June 9th. During this 2-week period, Marnie Kyle will serve as acting for the first week, and then Aaron Calvert for the second week. I'll send out a follow-up email just as a reminder for you so that you do have this in written form as well. So this travel is not vacation. It's part of my ICMA travels. First, I'll be traveling to Belgium for their country's local government conference, actually celebrating 50 years of being an association. During this time, I'll be on a panel on community engagement with a focus on transportation, housing, homelessness, and health and human services with an international lens and focus. From there, I'll be traveling to Banff in Alberta, Canada, for the Canadian Local Government Managers Conference, where I will be facilitating a session on local government ethics. And from there, I will be flying to Palm Desert, California, and facilitating various sessions at the Local Government Reimagine Conference with a focus on artificial intelligence. 2 memos that I would like to draw your attention to that you will be in your inbox this week. I mentioned one memo that was coming, and that's last week, the service level assessment. So that will hit your inbox this week. The second email is an update on the collaborative process between the county and the cities of Tigard and Beaverton. And this is to develop a framework to advance our urban service alignment as identified in the urban planning area agreements and urban services agreements between the city and county. So watch for that memo with more information on that urban service. That makes sense. And that once I send that memo, then the cities of Tigard and Beaverton will also be communicating with their respective counties.
And if I might, because I have forgotten to share this already a couple of times this week, I learned this is something that I'm hoping each of the agencies will just look into for appropriateness. But if I understand it correctly, the National Guard actually has a service that they offer to municipalities and other agencies on cybersecurity testing. Who knew? So that may be something you want to have your subject matter experts look at and see if that's something that might benefit us in controlled test. And I don't know if the folks who run the bug, I can't even remember what that, broadband users group. If that's something that would be of service to them or to WACA. So.
Yeah, for Washington County, Ann Ober will follow up on that. And there is an upcoming bug meeting, the broadband user group meeting in the next 2 weeks where Ann can also ask that question.
Cool. Great. Mr. Anderson.
Yes, thank you, board. We had a new decision come, well, it's not really a decision. There was a case, Thielman versus Fagan, that you may have heard about in the news, and this was a challenge to basically the state's election system. There was a challenge to whether vote by mail and machine tabulated voting procedures our process violates the 14th Amendment. The case has been primarily handled by the state, and in the case, the plaintiffs have lost at every level on the issue of standing, whether they could bring this case forward. The case was the petitioners or the plaintiffs petitioned for review by the United States Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court today decided not to review that case. So I just want to give you an update on that. We have one other case I'm just going to give you a brief report on, and I'm going to expand more later in the hot sheet on, and that's Disability Rights Oregon versus Washington County and WACA. In that case, Washington County as well as WACA filed a motion to dismiss. We received the response from the plaintiffs in that case. It's about 50-some pages long, and we're reviewing it right now, and we'll share with you more when we have more to share. And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Diane Taniguchi Dennis, Clean Water Services.
Thank you, Chair Harrington, and good afternoon, Board of Clean Water Services. We were really honored to be able to host the Water Caucus, and I want to thank you, the board, for being there. The team was sending me kind of blow-by-blow pictures because I was back in Denver facilitating the Water Research Foundation's RAC committee, and what I do there is we select the research, the water research for this next year. So I'm really grateful that you were there, and that Hillsborough, South Hillsborough is amazing, and also what Tigard is doing. And I thank you for acknowledging that and just the difference that it makes here in Washington County. It's pretty special. But I really want to give a shout out to Tracy Rainey. Tracy made this happen. Joe Gall supported her, and the whole team of Clean Water Services really rallied to do that presentation, and they did such a fabulous job. They even had them in safety vests and hard hats to tour the Rock Creek facility, but it was really great to see them there. We had a great meeting with Maria Pope and her team from Portland General Electric, and we have some things that we're really excited to work with PGE on. We're really looking at how do we collectively plan for the future to address the electrical needs that Clean Water Services will have as we serve this growing region. But even looking at reliability and resiliency measures such as standby generation and battery storage, and also these community-based solutions. So that was really exciting to do some more understanding of emergency management coordination in the event of a Cascadia event, and to make sure that we're sharing some of these best practices for business continuity across our organizations. And they're going to share with us so we can do our planning on potential pricing increases, and so we can plan what our operating expense will be. But it was a great meeting. Thank you, Chair, for making that suggestion. And we really enjoyed our time with Portland General Electric, and we're very thankful for Maria Pope and her team.
Well, it's been interesting going on walks during the spring season. And Tanya and I had a meeting with CEO Maria Pope, PGE CEO Maria Pope, and members of her team subsequent to the ice storm in January. And they really, their urban tree expert and Ms. Pope helped me internalize how in many older neighborhoods, the electrical power poles are in the backyards. And, you know, if you've got two streets and houses sharing that backyard fence line, and spring is a great time for seeing how all the different bushes, you know, rhododendron bushes can get huge, right? As well as the trees, vine maples and otherwise. And to see how the lines go through multiple lines, and there were different trees lost as well. I know it was very predominant in Commissioner Teresa's district. It's pretty amazing, and those neighborhoods need to think about if they need to make some changes. Because there really continues susceptibility in future snow and ice storms. Tell you, whew, something I hadn't really thought about. So it's been an interesting season for walking around. PGE does have a program called Right Tree, Right Place. And if you Google that, you can find it on their website to try and help each of us figure out the array of landscape materials that our local nurseries offer, and try to imagine what size these plants will be in 30+ years in order to figure out where we should plant them. So, yeah, interesting. All righty, anything else for the good of the order? Okay, well, that takes us to the end of board and leadership communication. So we'll move on to an executive session. Do we have a motion to adjourn to executive session pursuant to ORS 192.660 sub 2 sub I for the purposes of performance evaluation? So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye.
I did.
There you go.
I already.
I was looking at him. I do. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 5-0. Okay.